like, the crystal part's free. It's the making it smooth and shiny. That's the you're paying for that labor. You can't charge someone for something that's 20 million years old. You're a squatter. You're squatting on the rock. You can, it's just in your house. It's just in your house. It's weird the things we decide are corny. Like, it's weird the things we decide make someone lame. We're like, you and your crystals. Like, well, okay, well, we pay someone to cut down a bunch of trees to make paper that we paint green and we trade it for the rocks. Like, we're all just, I mean, we're such weird monkeys, dude. Like, we're all just like, rock, paper. Like, we're all playing rock, paper, scissors at all times. We're like, can you sharpen my rock? I'll give you this paper for this scissors and this rock. Like, we're all just like, so all I'm saying is that if you don't like Spencer Pratt, that is fine, but don't make it about the crystals, because you're ridiculous too. It's like the people who trash comics who did the Saudi festival. It's like, well, you were doing your trashing from a device powered by cobalt mined in the Congo by abused pregnant women and children, and then you posted from a social media site designed to make children addicted to a screen.
It is ridiculous.
And so that
society
perverts could find them without having to go to a mall. I'm going to shut up again because I can't deal with people being mad at a guy who has crystals. Okay? Let's just make sure if you're mad at Spencer Pratt because he has crystals that you don't have a Labubu hanging from your backpack.
Ooh.
You're a Herschel. You got a Herschel with a Labubu, and I know it. Let's make sure that you don't have someone else's hair clipped into your head.
If you got hit, even if you were not driving, you need to try this.
Because if you were in a car accident in the last year, you could be owed a large cash payment and not even know.
What if I was?
Even if you weren't driving, all you have to do is click the link in this video.
I'll
answer
click that
5
link.
simple questions about your accident and see if you have a case that could be worth money, like this, or even like this. If the accident wasn't your fault and it happened in the last 12 months,
okay? Let's make sure you don't have...
Everything's being ruined all around us. Listen to this. The communists won. And we believe that we won. We did not. We didn't win shit. We've been psyop.
Oh, he is, but his daughter isn't. Hello, Simone! I'm excited to be here with you today. Today we are going to be asking the question, did the communists win with their goals in the United States? So this rabbit hole was prompted for me by a Chris Williamson clip where he had on a guest, Isabel Brown, who was going over a list that she referred to be the communist goals for the United States circa 1960. She sort of misstated this list, implying that it was read into the congressional record by the Communist Party. It was not. It was read into the record by a Republican anti-communist and was a review of the notes on the Communist Party and their goals circa 1963 by an FBI agent, Cleon Skousen. So not a crackpot or anything like this. This was an FBI agent whose goal was in the FBI was to track and to understand the Communist Party's goals circa 1963.
Okay. Right? Yeah, and it's not like they were incredibly secret about their goals, so this can't be that inaccurate.
Yeah, well, you're going to be shocked by this list. You're going to be shocked. She read a few of them, and I was like, I need to go into the full thing. I need to look up the history of this list. Like, I'm not going to go over every single one of the points that he had read into it, because some of them would just get boring. But we're going to have enough material to shock you. So, I'm not going to be reading them in order either. So let's start here, okay? Transfer some of the power of arrest from the police to social agencies. Treat all behavioral problems as psychiatric disorders, which no one but psychologists can understand or treat. What? This was the 1960s, early 1960s. Psychiatrists weren't even a thing at that point. Not like commonly.
Oh, wow.
Did
we lose the Cold War? We lost the Cold War. We lost the Cold War.
When I read through this, you're going to be like, we lost the Cold War. We were just psyops into believing we won. on. I almost, at the end of this, like, believe that there's, like, a communist utopia in Russia right now, and that's where we've been sending all our defrauded Somali
shit.
dollars.
Apparently.
Like,
So we'll.
and then outside the
Fun.
U.S., everything's still going, and we've just been psyoped into believing that the Cold War is over and that we won to make us happy.
For real? What is happening? I don't know if I'm ready for this.
When you feel like shit, you need to look and see how to adjust it. Like, I look like shit, and I feel like shit. So I'm gonna make a change. You're gonna see it. You're gonna see it.
Now speak to your dad.
My son is a communist.
Okay, next. Dominic takes psychiatric profession and used health laws as a means of gaining coercive control over those who oppose communist goals.
gonna-
Consider the way that they've used things like trans mental health laws to achieve other goals they have later down on this list. First, given that this does seem to have been the plan, it's a pretty clever plan.
No,
Right?
yeah. If you go, we rewind to the 1950s, 1960s. Like, all right, how do we take out these? It is, yeah. I mean, it's incredibly clever. I never would have thought of it, but in terms of destroying a country from the inside, there's this one episode in earlier Doctor Who where the Doctor has this like plan where he's like, oh, I know how to like single-handedly take down this prime minister, and he, standing next to her, like turns to a journalist who's always there, or who is also there, and says, she looks tired, and that's supposed to be like, that's the end of her career. He just ended it by saying that and like sowed this doubt. But this is so much more like, this is the real version of that, where like Russia was like, oh, that's not just you being a dick. It's a mental health thing that needs to be systematically defended.
He is not talking about Russia's goals for the United States. These were the goals of the American Communist Party at the time. How they were going to dismantle the United States.
That is so. It's because. But then why? Why would you? I mean, because presumably the goal of destabilizing the U.S. means that then they can take over. But what is left to take over once you've done that to a country?
Well, they wanted to sell us out to the communists in Russia. We'll go over this. It didn't work out their way, but they have achieved all of their other goals other than that one. It really seems to be about destroying the United States above all else, and destroying the institutions that were most resistant to them, specifically religious institutions.
So it's not about brokering in some new age or transition. It's just out of hatred for the United States.
I mean, there does appear to be a new age or transition. It's the communist order, right? Like, they've got to break down the existing social structure before they can create a new one or offer a new one. And we'll even go into how they plan to run their revolution and everything like that.
Well, what good is a communist citizen if they're like crippled by anxiety and statutorily
Because then
the
they
right to
can't
not
fight
work?
back against the government.
Yeah, but isn't it? I guess in a post AGI world, a post singularity world, you don't need workers. Like the perfect communist state that has never
Communists
been
didn't
tried. Has
need
a lot
their
of
workers to work hard, Simone. Like, I think you're confused about this. Communists treat
Socialism
their
involved.
workers like slaves. Like, that's the way communist states have always operated. They don't actually need...
So I guess it was just was the plan a rug pull, like systematically, mentally
Well, how
drive
about we
people
go
insane.
through all of the plans and then
Okay,
you
yeah,
control
yes, yeah, okay. Let's try to understand this better.
Next year, okay? Discredit the family as an institution, encourage promiscuity, and easy divorce.
Oh boy.
By the way, if you're unfamiliar with the legal changes in the United States in post-1960s, not only has promiscuity obviously become very popular, the New York Times is regularly writing about polyamory and stuff like this, but the idea of easy divorce has become way, way, way easier, and there has been explicit attacks. Like BLM saw the family unit as one of their core things that they wanted to target and discredit. Okay. Emphasize the need to raise children away from the negative influence of parents, attribute prejudices, mental blocks, and the retarding of children to the suppressive influence of parents.
The retarding of children to the
Yeah, basically,
suppressive
they're like,
influence of
we
parents.
want to retard children,
They
and
must
they
retard the
will
children.
Parents.
I love that word.
The school system, and then we'll blame parents on the results of that.
That is so good.
And every time somebody's like, well, what about the parents? Right, you know they're running a communist op. They're running a communist op. Come on, guys. I always hate that whiny, what about the parents? It's like, obviously, it's really about the family culture. Like, the parents cannot draconianly police everything a kid does. They need to create a culture where the negatives of society don't get their hooks in the kid to the same extent. But by creating this
Can't
period
do
of
my hair.
helplessness, communists were able to
Gotta have the brush.
degrade
Yeah, I
portions
know.
of our society. Okay,
I
next. Gain control of key
Help
positions
me
in
find it.
radio, TV, and motion pictures. Again, note here, I am not editorializing these. I am not. This is what was read into the congressional record.
I know.
Okay.
His beard looks crazy too.
Well, I guess that explains the witch hunt that took place in that sense, right? Wasn't there a big blacklist because there was this intense fear of people taking over the media? So it sounds like this
And
was
they did.
internalized and taken seriously.
We're all gonna die.
They did take over the
Someday.
media. I mean, we've seen this today, right? You know,
Not today.
the media is what in the 1960s would be called communists. The vast majority of people with influence, I'd say well over 80% of people with influence in any of the major media organizations would be in 1953 be described as a hardline communist.
Fuck
This
you,
is
communism.
Okay, next.
One moment. Octavian, what